Discuss another major strategic region of the world, and you are seeing it's Red Sea. Yesterday I discussed Black Sea, now this color changed to Red Sea. Okay, so be concentrate. What are the countries? First questions always keep in mind. What are the countries that surround the Red Sea? Why I call Red Sea a strategic region? So I will discuss both things. Okay, be with me, patiently listen me. See, if somebody has to enter, okay, if somebody has to enter mm, Red Sea, suppose from Arabian Sea to Red Sea, from any direction, they will meet at a point. This is very a strategic island. Can you name it? It is Socotra Island. Okay, it belongs to Yemen. Okay, it is a Socotra island and it belongs to Yemen. So Yemen is the first country I will concentrate that borders with Red Sea. Okay, and then ship will sail inside, and it will also border with other countries. This region of Africa is called, do you know, this region of Africa is called Horn of Africa. Okay, it includes almost Eritrea, Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Somalia. These four countries. Okay, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Somalia. Eritrea was once part of Ethiopia. It was a French colony. Okay, it get independence from Ethiopia. So we will discuss as we'll move further. So when somebody enter, okay, in this region, see what happened. You have entered in Gulf of Aden, and then you will enter here. Okay, see, again water becomes too narrower. Okay, so what we'll call this region? Obviously a strait. So what is the name of a strait? Can you name it? It's a very interesting strait. It's I have discussed so many strait, like I have discussed in our first lecture about Strait of Hormuz. Okay, which connects Arabian Sea and Persian Gulf. This is the second strait which connects Red Sea to Arabian Sea. Okay, so these are small. I already said Gulf Aden is not so much important. You have to remember Arabian Sea, Red Sea. Rarely a state PCS can ask or give option of Gulf of Aden. You can remember, but no need to remember. Red Sea and Arabian Sea is enough. So there is a strait. Can you name it? Which strait? This is also very strategic asset. You see, who will have control of this asset, this strait will control over get one control. I have seen Socotra Island, and second gateway, second control will have those who have control over this strait. This strait is called Strait of. Can you name it? Okay, let me zoom it so that you can better see. This strait is called, why not it is coming. Okay, let me show you. Yes, it had appeared, but it suddenly vanished. This state is Bab al Mandab state. Okay, very interesting state, Bab al Mandab state. I have to taken a lot of time, don't worry. So this state is very important, and let me see which country is near Bab al Mandab state. Obviously Djibouti and Eritrea. Djibouti is okay. So we see Yemen, first country. Socotra Island belongs to which country? Here is Socotra Island, which belongs to which country? This is Socotra Island belongs to which country? Yemen. And then here you see a strait, Bab al Mandab strait. Okay, and which is Djibouti. Okay, once who have presence over Djibouti, they can control over any ships entering Red Sea. So you will see Djibouti has so many countries have built their overseas naval bases. France naval bases already have, US have, but recently most interesting is that one Asian power has made it its first overseas military base at Djibouti. Can you name it? Obviously China. Djibouti is China's first overseas military base, and a very interesting test case for its global ambition. We will later discuss much more about geopolitics. China is becoming a superpower. Its ambition is increasing. Its aggression in South China Sea. It's showing aggression in Indian Ocean and everywhere. You will see. Uh, we will discuss in somewhere in political geography in much detail, in much interesting way, but here let's just concentrate on countries bordering Red Sea. So we have seen two countries, one is Yemen and other is Djibouti. These two countries are very very important, which borders the Red. I haven't mentioned Somalia borders Red Sea. Be cautious. Red Sea start from Strait of Bab al Mandab. Okay, Red Sea starts from the Strait of Bab al Mandab. So first country is Yemen and then Djibouti. Okay, then which country? Then Eritrea, not Ethiopia. Ethiopia don't border with. It is a landlocked country. Ethiopia is a landlocked country. Okay, Eritrea. Okay, uh, see, let's see other countries one by one. Then Sudan. Okay, Sudan borders Red Sea, and then Egypt also border Red Sea, and one major country is Saudi Arabia. No doubt Saudi Arabia also borders Red Sea, and two countries that borders Red Sea are Israel and Jordan. These two countries also borders Red Sea. Let me zoom so that you can better observe. See here, you are seeing Israel is bordering. See, Israel is bordering through Gulf of Aqaba to Red Sea. Okay, and so is this is Jordan is also bordering through Gulf of Aqaba to Red Sea. So both two country, Jordan and Israel, borders with Red Sea through Gulf of Aqaba. So if somebody will ask, Israel borders two sea, can you name? Yes, Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea. Israel has access of both the sea. Similarly, Egypt borders two sea. It has access of Mediterranean Sea as well as uh, as well as uh, Red Sea, because this whole region which I have shown you is very interesting region. This region is called Sinai Peninsula. Okay, Sinai Peninsula. It is controlled by two countries. Okay, one is, you are seeing this portion is controlled by which countries? This is controlled by Israel, and this portion is controlled by Egypt. Okay, so let's move further. So we have seen this is Sinai Peninsula, and this, obviously if this is a peninsula, it will be surrounded from three sides by water bodies. So one side is Gulf of Aqaba, other side is Gulf of Suez, and in north lies the Red Sea. Okay, so there is one most interesting, most strategic canal is located here. Can you tell me which canal? Of course, Suez Canal. But you are not seeing Suez Canal, okay, because it's so narrow, you can't see unless we will not zoom it. But you are seeing a water body here. Can you name which lake is this? This is very important lake. Okay, can you name it? Yes, it is a Great Bitter Lake. Okay, concentrate. I best way to study geography is use Google Map. Okay, and keep don't zoom it too large. Okay, keep it at medium level so that major countries, their capitals uh, becomes appear. Okay, and then those features which you can see are important. Other features, like here you are seeing another feature. Okay, can you say which sea is it? Obviously Dead Sea, world's most saltiest sea it is. So marks those features which you can see, which you can visualize. Okay, so here is a see that is called, let's zoom this region. Okay, this region is very important. Suez Canal. See, there is a very small we are seeing bluish line is emerging. Okay, very very small bluish line is emerging as we are zooming it. Very small line, this the bluish line which you are seeing. And again another uh, another lake has emerged. Okay, and another lake has emerged. So what is the name of this lake? Can you name it? Okay, this is also a very famous lake. Okay, can you name it? Tell me. I'm giving you some time. Okay, let me zoom it so that you can see. Yeah, Timsa Lake. So you have to remember only two lake, Timsa Lake as well as Great Bitter Lake. So two lake you have to remember, Timsa Lake as well as Great Bitter Lake. And this is the Suez Canal. You are seeing this blue line. I am making you more. Uh, this is the Suez, Gulf of Suez, and this is the canal, Great Bitter Lake, then Timsa Lake, and then this Suez connect Port Said, which is at one of the busiest port of the world, which lies at the Mediterranean Ocean. So, okay, so this is the Suez Canal, and this is the other city, Suez. Okay, so both cities are important, Port Said and Port Suez. So Suez Canal is between and controlled by whom? Controlled by Egypt. It's a very strategic canal. How let me show you how Suez Canal is a very strategic canal. Let's see. If Europe has to do trade with India, okay, if Europe has to do trade with India, so how he can do? Either Europe can, this Western Europe, this whole Europe have to do trade with India. How they will do? They will either go through land route, okay, or go through ocean route. But see, there is a one route. This route was traveled by whom? This route was traveled by Vasco da Gama. You know well. You will study about this route in history. But see, this is so long. You have to almost garden whole of the Africa. But see, if anybody has to travel via this route, how much short it is? How much short it is? So short. It makes route very very, but still this route is used because those goods which are not perishable, which are not of emergency nature, they can be transported because this route is cheap, but and this route is a costly route. So only those goods which are essential goods are transported via this route, because Suez Canal is one of the busiest canal of the world. So I have covered almost all countries of this region. So once again revised. So first country is first we see Socotra Island belongs to Yemen. Okay, first we see this is a Socotra Island, this belongs to Socotra Island, belongs to Yemen. Then we see here a small base, Djibouti. Okay, then we say Ethiopia was once part of Eritrea. Okay, then we see here Eritrea, it's okay, then Sudan, and then Egypt, and then Israel, okay, and Jordan, and then Saudi Arabia. So let's zoom it and search some more interesting regions. See, when anybody enters through this route, I'm showing you some interesting cities. Okay, when somebody will enter through this route in Red Bab al Mandab Strait and then enter into the Red Sea, two very famous city. Note it: Makkah and Medina, most holiest city of the world. Makkah and Medina. Also, if you will move further and further, you will see third most holy place of the world. Can you name? Yes, Jerusalem. Here is in Israel. Okay, it's Jerusalem in Israel. So three holy places we see while traveling Red Sea: Makkah, Medina, and Jerusalem. So these three cities are important. They can ask you in Sana, they can give you which are the country from north to south: Sana, Makkah, Medina, Jerusalem. Like that they can set questions, but very unlikely such questions UPSC will, such easy questions UPSC will not ask. I don't think so. So we have covered almost all country of this region. Let's see some of strategic some more strategic location in this region. Okay, so one I see Suez Canal, okay, and here one state of Bab al Mandib, and one island, Socotra Island. Let's see some of more strategic region of this region. Okay, there is a, you see, this is the region. Okay, this is the region. very interesting. I'm marking it. This is the region you are seeing. This is a Golan Height. Okay, this is very strategic region of West Asia, Golan Height. It is most important geopolitical region, which was captured from Syria and occupied by Israel during 1967 Six-Day War. Okay. uh, y- last video, we have seen that similar there was a strategic peninsula. What was the name of that was captured by Russia in 2014? What was the name of that peninsula? Crimea Peninsula. And Russia captured and next that peninsula for which port? Sevastopol. What was a strategic signal? It was a warm water port, so you can it was open throughout the year. Okay, winter time, summer time, every year, throughout the year, every month it was open. Okay, so similarly Golan Height is very strategically important. First, see, uh, country will fight only for the resource. Okay, they don't fight for unnecessary things. They fight for resource. They can use anything. Okay, so see what is the strategic significance of Golan Height. First, it is a Golan Height, it's a plateau region. Okay, which has very fertile land. So second, it has first is fertile plain. Second reason is it has mineral deposit. Third is it's a source of rivers. And fourth is because of height it gives military advantages. Okay, because you know, if you if in war, if you are at height, the attrition rate is sometimes 1 is to 9 or 1 is to 11, meaning that damage rate or the soldiers which are occupying at height, if they one soldiers will be killed, then 10 9 to 11 soldiers fighting from the ground, they will get killed. So this is the difference attrition. So height gives military advantages also. So you are seeing geography, how it influences even in warfare. Okay, geography influences in certain. Let me give you another example. In India, if you will look at the Naga village, in the Nagaland of Naga villages, they occupy the top of the mountains. Naga villages are located at the top of mountains because Nagas were the fighters. Okay, and height give them the strategic advantages. Okay. They can see the enemy which were very far, which enemy is coming, and they can be prepared. So they occupied they settled at the top of the hills. So such you see, see settlement pattern of people are get decided by geographical factors. Okay, so we will geography has, I have said geography is a very interesting subject. It has influence almost in every field, every subject. So as we will move forward, we will see such many more interesting examples. And with this I finish this lecture. Thank you very much.